Like, she was there when sliced bread was invented, dog. Do you understand? It's not a joke. Like, this is a very real thing. All right, let's get started on Dianne Feinstein, who ended her her unfortunately too short life earlier this morning at the age of 90.
Feinstein of California has died. She was 90 years old. CNN's Lauren Fox is here with more. Lauren, what do we know at this point?
Yeah, we are still getting more information, Phil, but what we know right now is that Senator Dianne Feinstein, the longest serving woman in the U.S. Senate, she has passed away. Obviously, we are still getting details and gathering information about her passing, how it occurred. We've known for a long time that Senator Feinstein has struggled with several health issues, but she has continued to serve in her capacity both as a senator and on the Senate Judiciary.
Yeah, she didn't have to. She was like almost a billionaire. Her husband is like stupid rich. Okay. She didn't have to be serving at the end of her life, being wheeled around. That did not have to happen. Dianne Feinstein is not like the singular charismatic force that is the only person that you can elect to that position in a state that's like a purple state or whatever. Dianne Feinstein is a California senator. Okay. Suck my fucking dick, everybody. If you have any kind of issue with the things I'm about to say about the selfishness and the audacity of these fucking cretins who have made insane amounts of money over their entirely too long careers as they became more hardened in their perspectives and stood in the face of progress, okay? If you have any issues with any of that, if you look at her and you go, oh, that's a frail old lady, you're going to shit on her? How dare you? All I will tell you is suck my dick, okay? She did not have your best interests at heart. She was selfish. She was a piece of shit for staying in that position for far too long. And there are plenty of examples of her demonstrating how big of a piece of shit she was. But this last piece of the puzzle is the absolute worst moment because it's exactly like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, because not only was she a piece of shit who should not have run for re-election in a fucking deep blue state like California, but also she was a piece of shit that was placed on the Judiciary Committee in the Senate. So she was a piece of shit with a big role to play, you know, where all the federal court appointments are coming through. And now, just like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who also was a piece of fucking garbage, okay? In the exact same ways, as a matter of fact. In the exact same stupid ass, like, oh, look, this is actually girl boss feminism that we're doing by, like, allowing, by holding on to our position of power, even though it will harm the overwhelming majority of women in the United States of America and their future. They refused to quit, and we fucked around and we found out. Here's Ethan's take on it, which is really good. Dianne Feinstein should have stepped aside for the younger generation 2 decades ago. Instead, she pathetically clanged to power and obstructed progress. What happened to planting trees that you will never sit under? Fuck her and fuck RBG and fuck any other geriatric piece of shit that puts their own ego, self-interest, and desperate hold on power above progress. Pass the baton and I'll honor your legacy. Until then, just retire and get the hell out of the way. Straight up. Oh, this is a great one, too. This is a person who worked with Dianne Feinstein. Wait, oh, no. There was another one I saw. Someone was her staffer, and they talked about her experience, okay? They talked about, like, their experience as a staffer under Feinstein, and they're like, you know, it was really terrifying, and we were talking behind closed doors about how, like, she wasn't all there. You know what I mean? Like, she wasn't entirely there. And then it ends with, this was in 2010. Yeah, this. Fondly remembering my tenure as an unpaid intern in Dianne Feinstein's office when we were like, look, I'm not a doctor, but this person doesn't seem like she's in super great shape to be one of the 100 U.S. senators. Anyway, this was in 2010. It's so fucking insane. What's the criticism of RBG? Identical to Dianne Feinstein. She did not step down when she had, like, cancer 100 times, okay? Ruth Bader Ginsburg was supposed to step down under the Obama presidency, okay? under the Obama administration, there were calls for her to step down. And literally at the time, every single dumb bitch out there said, you are not a girl boss. Ruth Bader Ginsburg is. She's the best fucking girl boss you've ever seen. How dare you fucking tell her to step down? She can have ass cancer 100 more times and we don't care. Okay? And then what happened? She officiated a maskless wedding after getting like every type of cancer known to man. She officiated a fucking maskless wedding in the middle of COVID and then died like immediately after. So, you know, like 2 weeks after her chemo. Yeah, exactly. She went and officiated a fucking maskless wedding and then fucking died. Okay? That's what happened to Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And guess what happened when she fucking died? Donald Trump was the president. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah. These girl bosses dying doing what they fucking love. Okay? Holy moly. Politicians are not your favorite athletes for you to root on TV. They're stewards of power who are responsible for representing real people. And when they exercise the power carelessly, that's as much a part of their legacy as anything they did in office, sometimes even more so. Exactly. Exactly. Confirming Biden's judicial nominees has to be the Senate Democrats' top priority between now and the 2024 election. Feinstein's death will make it a lot harder for them to do so. I don't like this any more than you do, but here we are. That's precisely the fucking problem, by the way. Yeah, if you want to know what happens when you fucking don't leave office or don't leave your lifetime appointment, for example, and basically if you're a fucking blue senator from California, it's fundamentally the same thing. It's like a lifetime appointment. Literally, you die on the fucking seat. Dianne Feinstein technically voted yesterday. I want you to understand, Dianne Feinstein of the Senate Judiciary Committee, like, had appointments yesterday, okay? And then she died. So for the last couple of months, they've just been making her press buttons like Weekend at fucking Bernie style. And for the record, they had to do that. They had to do that because she fucking selfishly ran again, and then her brain turned into fucking mush. Yeah, she said they took her back to her fucking DC home, and she died, okay? And now we're fucked. Before they were murdered, Harvey Milk and Mayor Moscone were working on sweeping tenants' rights ordinances across San Francisco that could have had lasting effects. Dianne Feinstein was about to resign from politics. Then she found Harvey's body and everything changed. History's crazy. I was just doing some research this afternoon for this book on Oakland PD and came across a lovely mention of Dianne Feinstein firing the San Francisco Police Department Charles Gain, ex-OPD chief, because he refused to let the San Francisco Police Department crack gay skulls after Harvey Milk's assassination. Mr. Gaines' police career, which began in Oakland in 1946, ran around in May after he was severely criticized for refusing to allow the police to attack rioting homosexuals. The rioters were protesting what they regarded as a lenient manslaughter verdict against Dan White, the killer of Mayor George R. Moscone, and Supervisor Harvey Milk, the first avowed homosexual to hold public office here. She put up a Confederate flag alongside a bunch of other flags. Where the Spartacist communists were routinely doing demonstrations to take the Confederate flag down. That part is also real. But, you know, if you go to PolitiFact, they'll try to, hand wave that away. You predicted this about Dianne Feinstein? I did. A few minutes ago. I mean, I've said a lot about Dianne Feinstein dying. The most prescient one is obviously the here it is. I posted this on my Twitter. Did you know Dianne Feinstein is running for re-election in 2024? I heard about that. It's a fucking meme. I don't think Dianne Feinstein makes it to 2024. I think she will die before that. Like, she is way too fucking old. I'm sorry. Anyway, Dianne Feinstein in a similar category to fucking Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Sure, Dianne Feinstein believed in mass surveillance, was involved in illegal stock trading, and refused to retire even though she couldn't remember where she was. But let's not forget, she also single-handedly screwed up the Night Stalker search. It's called priorities, people. Yeah, that is one of my favorite Feinstein moments. There is at least one good thing that Dianne Feinstein did do that I thought was, the right thing to do, for the record. Another one of your Feinstein bangers, edit
The
by
health
Little
of
Bear.
California Senator Dianne Feinstein. The 89-year-old Democrat recently returned to Capitol Hill in a 3-month absence due to a bout of shingles. Her office confirms that she's dealing with some serious complications.
What do you mean? She looks perfectly fine. Nothing to worry about. Look at this, dude. It's so fucked. Oh, no, dude. There's nothing to worry about. What are you guys talking about? What the fuck? You just hate to see a sexy ass woman have it all? Oh, it's like seeing her in this video made me realize how old she was because she looks old here.
Both Mayor Moscone and Supervisor Harvey Milk have been shot and killed.
Yeah, bro, that's how old she is. I mean, Dianne Feinstein, isn't there like we can look at the list of things that Dianne Feinstein is like older than. Like she saw the invention of like chocolate chip cookies or some shit, right? Like toast, white bread, like sliced toasted bread. Like she was there when sliced bread was invented, dog. Do you understand? She's older than the fucking Golden Gate Bridge. It's not a joke. Like this is a very real thing. She was there when they discovered water. Yeah, she was. Bro, she was there when they discovered fire. They were like, wow, that's crazy. Oh, here it is. Yeah, it's not even a joke. 4 U.S. senators are literally older than chocolate chip cookies. The chocolate chip cookie was invented in 1938, okay? One of the greatest inventions of all time. Alaska, Hawaii statehood. I mean, those are not that, I mean, I guess that's like still relatively new. Newer than Dianne Feinstein, so there is that. Dianne Feinstein is 3 years younger than the invention of sliced bread and scotch tape, the same age as FM radio, 2 years older than canned beer, nylon, and radar, 4 years older than the jet engine and photocopier, 5 years older than the LSD and ballpoint pens, 6 years older than helicopters. I made the same post about Chuck Grassley last year, and a bunch of right-wingers tried to pull a gotcha by saying he's 3 months younger than her. And I was like, no, you misunderstood. I do not think that anyone that age should be in office. Helicopters. Yeah. She was there when they invented chocolate cookies. Yeah. Like chocolate chip cookies were invented after Dianne Feinstein, man. You can't. Like, can you imagine? What the fuck were they eating beforehand? You know what I mean?
Things invented after Dianne Feinstein was born. If you close one eye and then squint the other one and rock back and forth, she doesn't look a day over 89. Dianne Feinstein is older than the San Francisco 49ers, the atomic bomb, the ballpoint pen. She's 5 years older than the ability to photocopy. She's older than the creation of Spider-Man. Matter of fact, she's older than the creation of Marvel Comics as a whole by about 6 years. So take every one of your favorite Marvel superheroes, and she's older than all of them grouped together. Smells like chocolate chip cookies. Really put it into perspective. Dianne Feinstein's parents were doing the before World War II even started. Oh yeah, she's older than the Harry Truman administration. And remember guys, these videos are not an endorsement of any party, not an endorsement of a political candidate. Rather, an endorsement of the idea that we need term limits.
Yeah. It's pretty fire. I mean, she did a lot of good. She did a lot of bad.
Richard Bradley never thought
Richard
these...
Bradley, fucking communist hero, communist legend. Who is Richard Bradley? The man who took Dianne Feinstein speaks out 37 years later. Yeah, I don't feel like my policy on this shit is always, what is your legacy? What did you do? Why did you do it? And I don't immediately go to glaze mode in the same way that like a lot of the mainstream media does, right? Because whenever someone dies, they're like, oh my God, we got to preserve their legacy and like act like they were wonderful, you know? And in most cases, if you're talking about a politician, there are very few politicians that deserve that kind of legacy preservation. Okay? And oftentimes the ones that do deserve that kind of legacy preservation don't get it. They're routinely hailed as like bloodthirsty, monstrous villains, you know, Che Guevara, Fidel Castro, and the like. Lenin and others, and historical figures that don't deserve that kind of legacy preservation get it, especially in the United States of America, right? I'm, of course, talking about, for example, George H.W. Bush, a gigantic piece of shit, a monstrous person in general, both in the CIA and also as president, doing a fuck ton of war crimes. And Ronald Reagan is another great example. These are all awful, psychopathic weirdos, losers, and yet they get wall-to-wall, glazed-up coverage. Now, obviously, Dianne Feinstein is not to the same degree. Like, she's not as big as it and as disastrous as a fucking monster that Ronald Reagan was, but she still wasn't great. So, no, I'm not going to do the regular fucking classic coverage of like, well, this person is wonderful. She did a lot of good things. I will talk about some of the good things that she did because there are moments where she got things right, okay? I will admit that. But the reality is that overall, she was a institutionalist who was a force to be reckoned with in the Democratic machine in California, much like Nancy Pelosi, who was also running for re-election. Remember, Nancy Pelosi stated like a month ago that she's running for re-election, okay? You should not do that. Stop doing that. Not to say that like the younger version of Nancy Pelosi, Hakeem Jeffries, is going to be any better, but just what the fuck are you doing? Like, get someone else to take up the fucking to take up that role, to take up that position, and actually push the party forward. This is a progressive safe haven. Put like actual fucking progressives in charge. Jesus Christ. Oh, I hate it. Anyway, but yeah, let's hear how the media is covering the Dianne Feinstein death, and we'll get to what the actual legacy is, and obviously I'll still keep making jokes about how I feel about Dianne Feinstein and all the times that I've correctly predicted that she will die any moment now.
Judiciary Committee, where her vote has been essential to moving forward with the Biden administration's judicial nominees over the last several years and last several months in particular. Senator Dianne Feinstein has a long legislative history and record, including the fact that she was the architect of the 1994 assault weapons ban. Fighting gun violence has been a key issue for Senator Feinstein over the course of her career.
This part is correct and is like a big dub for Dianne, okay? That is actually a very good dub, a very big dub for Dianne Feinstein. As much as I personally am a assault weapons enjoyer and one who has shot many, and fuck is it? Hold on. I'll go bring mine in honor of Dianne right now. But this was good. This was smart. Of course, it expired, and then I think that's probably one of the first moments, like in the lead up to the assault weapons ban, was one of the first moments that the gun manufacturers realized, oh my God, we can make so much fucking money by acting like these guns will never be released to market.
Career. She was also the first woman to serve as the chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, and she fought even against her Democratic colleagues to release details of the enhanced interrogation techniques that were used under the Bush administration, going toe-to-toe with the Obama administration in trying to get the public more informed about what had occurred during those years in the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. So obviously, she is someone who has a long legislative history, a long career.
That part is also good. One thing that they will never mention in the mainstream media that I actually do think Dianne Feinstein was like surprisingly and shockingly good on is anti-BDS legislation. Dianne Feinstein, alongside Bernie Sanders, were openly against all of the anti-BDS legislation that was getting passed all around the country. 100%. That is something that I will always respect, because it is one of those things where there is no political appetite for it. All you're doing is expending social political capital for no fucking reason whatsoever, other than the fact that you think it's gross, disgusting, and anti-First Amendment. BDS is boycott, divestment, and sanctions on the state of Israel. It is a peaceful way to try and organize and protest against the apartheid state of Israel. And it is illegal to be a supporter of it in 35 states. It is a complete and utter failure. It is directly in violation of the First Amendment, and yet it gets no coverage whatsoever. And it's just like a given that we have a foreign nation, and its lobbyists, its interest groups, perfectly tailor, craft legislation that goes against the First Amendment. Okay, in a clear-cut violation of the First Amendment. It's insane. Yeah. So something to remember. So she copied Bernie's homework. That's not a W. You're crazy if you think that, like, as a sitting politician, it doesn't actually demonstrate courage and moral conviction on one of these issues, at least. Sorry. There are a couple things that I will automatically give you props for, and that is, one, if you stand in solidarity with Palestinians, or at the very least, like, openly put your fucking name out there in as a sitting politician that says, no, these kinds of laws are fucking completely unjustifiable. It is way too far. That's definitely praise that Dianne Feinstein deserved. Okay? Hope your gun safe was down there and you didn't just leave your gun on the floor, Lamau. Brother. It's on my lap. I always keep that fucking thing on me. So yes, her. It's not like she was supportive of the BDS movement. She just thought that anti-BDS legislation was against the First Amendment, which is true. It is, and she was right to put her name out there to stake her reputation on that. That does deserve praise because it is politically courageous to do. That's number one. That's one of the things that I will always respect. Another thing is prisoners' rights, like not just criminal justice reform, but like those who, and this never happens really in American politics at all. We don't even consider that, but like anyone who ever is on, whoever sides and openly will defend Palestinians or prisoners, like criminals in general, and their humanity is good on my side. Okay. It takes a lot of courage, even if you're not a fucking politician, to say these things in the United States of America. It shouldn't be the case, but it is true. So, you know, those are two W. I mean, not that she was on criminals. She was defending the rights of criminals or anything like that, obviously. I'm just saying that those are things, those are issues that certainly are contentious and that people will immediately yell at you for. And yet, you know, Dianne Feinstein, at least on one of those things, was in support of the truth and justice and morality. And that is, of course, her perspective on anti-BDS legislation. Anti-boycott, divestments, and sanctions on Israel legislation, which, by the way, is, one, it's commendable. Two, it was tailored around BDS movements created against apartheid South Africa. Okay? So, something to remember. The assault weapons ban was good. Her anti-torture investigations were good. Her takes against anti-BDS legislation was good.
One who is obviously going to be very missed by her colleagues, but as I noted, she has been struggling with health issues over the last several months. She was absent from the Senate for many months as she fought shingles and complications from shingles. She returned to the Senate and had struggled at times with her role on the Senate Judiciary and Appropriations Committee. Specifically, a few months ago, she was struggling, to vote on a vote in the Senate Appropriations Committee. So it is something that has come to pass, but we are still getting more details about Senate.
Brainwashed imperialists here. What's so bad about Israel? Brother, where do I begin? I mean, just Google Nakba 1948 and start from that point, okay? A nation state in its inception was built on settler colonial occupation, and was violent from its inception all the way to increasingly more violent and brutal and genocidal, especially now. Like, I don't know. That's pretty good. A pretty good place to start, I think. Like, every kind of criticism that you can launch towards the settler colonial violence that is currently occurring in the West Bank, which is like internationally not recognized as a territory belonging to Israel, is how Israel was formed as a nation state. Yes, or just Google my name with Palestine. I've covered it extensively. So yeah.
Senator Dianne Feinstein's passing.
And Lauren, thank you for the breaking news. Please stay with us, as I believe we also have our colleague Casey Hunt on the phone. Casey, can you hear us?
Hey, guys. Yeah, I'm with you.
You know, you think about her service, 31 years in the Senate, elected in 92, longest serving woman senator ever. Lauren talked about the work that she did.
Yeah, let's not make any inferences about Biden's shelf life either off of this, for the record. You know, he will be totally fine. Certainly, he also isn't looking like he's about to fucking die, you know? Just, let's not even consider that. Let's not even think about that, obviously. You know, it's just don't think about the top of the hour ad break, which comes at the top of every hour, and how you can avoid those ads by subscribing for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime, by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, where you get one free Prime subscription a month. You know, don't bring that up. I think this is hurting Biden because people are thinking about it even more now. Brother, I don't think, in the case of Biden, I don't think you can think about it more. It's on his face. He wears it on his sleeve. You know what I mean? Like, every time you see him out and about, you're like, oh, he's going to die soon. And that's really fucking weird that, like, we just don't see that at all. I have not seen Biden in any of his recent public appearances. I've never looked at him and went, wow, he looks vibrant here. He sure looks vibrant, and he looks like he's got vigor here. You know, that's like not, he just looks like he's dead. He's already dead, and they're just propping him up with a stick, just like Dianne Feinstein. And holy moly, that is, who knows what the fuck's gonna happen. You know what I mean? I hate Hasan now. I've become a hater, shaking my head. Okay, here's the 3-minute ad break now before I forget. Who's your money on, Biden or Trump first? Considering that evil never dies, which also helps Brandon in this situation as well, but the more evil party in that situation, marginally more evil party, would be Donald Trump. He will definitely have a longer shelf life than Brandon. Because in the real world, unlike in the movies or in, in novels, in fiction, in the real world, evil never dies. In fiction, you know, good triumphs over evil and everybody celebrates and says kumbaya. Whereas in the real world, evil never dies. You have Dick Cheney, who's still kicking, who's still alive. You have fucking Henry Kissinger, who's still alive. Anyway, the man from the ether, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. And also Saxy Panda Bear, thank you for the 100 gifted subs. Holy fuck. I don't know, man. Biden looks pretty good in this. This was a pretty fire one.
Dap me up is?
No.
Okay, so you have to like that. That's how you dap me up. So do it. Dap me up. Woo!
The way we do it in my neighborhood, you go like this. You walk up, you go like this.
He's got, we talked about this before. He's got so much grip. Like, he's got old man grip in this. This is old, though. Not super old, but definitely old. You haven't seen this picture of Biden? Could Donald Trump stretch like this? No, absolutely not. Trump can't do half the things Biden does. Wait, what? Oh, God. We're so cooked. We are so fucking cooked. This is like one of those DNC TikTokers, right? Yeah, he's like the DNC kid. Good for him. Honestly, is he wrong? Brother, he's stretching his legs. Like, he's got his good moments, and his good moments are far... they're hard to come by in comparison to his very, very bad moments. Anyway, Blue Jean Baby. I'm thinking of fucking Dianne Feinstein on this beautiful
Here's what
moment.
I gotta say. You want Feinstein to be in the Senate? Great, okay? You fucking advocate that in public. You have to let her drive you to fucking Congress every morning.
Oh,
you stupid fuck.
I love
Do
that
it.
deal.
Yeah. You think she has the mental faculties? Drive the car to Congress, okay? Let her drive you to fucking Congress.
She probably can't even dress herself. Let's be real.
No, she's done. She's over. It's literally a shell, okay?
Oh, wait.
People that you would not trust to man a fucking vehicle that you're inside of for understandable reasons are still trustworthy somehow to man the fucking country. And it goes to show you, like, it's true. Like, they don't really care who is in that seat. It's just an ass in a seat, okay? And the irony is, there are plenty of fucking old-ass senators who should retire but won't. But ultimately, at least they can sit on that seat and vote. Dianne Feinstein can't even fucking do that when there's there is a slim majority in the Senate.
Bet you feel pretty bad for her now. R.I.P. to that skimbag. No, I feel bad for the country. I feel bad for our prospects. I feel bad for our future. I feel bad for what Dianne Feinstein's reelection meant for the Democratic Party. I feel bad for everybody because this is much larger. This is a much larger issue than Dianne Feinstein. Okay? It's not just that she was like a bag of bones that was decaying actively in front of our fucking eyes. The issue is that despite the very obvious reality that she was a decaying corpse, okay, mummifying in real time, she was still on the fucking Senate Judiciary Committee. Okay? That is terrifying. Just like Bob Menendez was on the motherfucking Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Like, why are we doing this? Just like Joe Manchin is on the Energy Committee, the chairman. Think about that. What does that say about the Democratic Party, to you at least? These are high-ranking Democrats, chat. Like, I know I don't always get super into electoralism and like the Democratic Party. I don't get into the nitty-gritty of the Democratic Party. But what is incredibly frustrating to me about this kind of stuff is that they don't even do a good job with the metrics that we don't even apply to them. Okay? They don't do a good job with the metrics. If you were a like diehard vote blue, no matter who Democrat, who is a lib, who comes in here and says, Hasan, you simply don't understand politics is the art of the possible, you should still be angry, okay? You should still be angry. You should be angry at your party for putting this person in a position of fucking power. I said this earlier. I said Menendez being the chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee and the now dead Dianne Feinstein being on the Senate Judiciary Committee just tells me Democrats want to play on New Game Plus difficulty. Subscribing is literally zero value. Agree? Fun fact, disagree. But it's not the top of the hour right now because I already ran the ad break. But, come back again later, chatter.
Really the architect of the assault weapons ban back in 1994, a huge voice as well when it came to the push to legalize gay marriage. As we'll get to the health in a moment, but just help us remember the woman and the senator.
Absolutely, Poppy. I mean, Lauren touched on this a little bit, and I know, Phil can speak to this too. He and I often were in the halls together talking with Senator Feinstein. I mean, she really was a legend, an icon for women in politics.
Oh my God.
She is someone who, was breaking ground from the beginning when she was first working in San Francisco with Harvey Milk and some of the, kind of
Shut
original
the fuck up!
Battles over rights for gay Americans. And, she is somebody who had just an incredibly storied career from there, rising to national prominence. And, Lauren outlined a couple of the things that she really took the lead.
Let me ask a question here. Like, why are the iconic female politicians such fucking assholes? Okay. Maybe we should have better iconic female politicians, which we do. There are actually good politicians out there that you could point to. You know what I mean? Ilhan Omar, AOC, Rashida Tlaib. You know what I mean? They're out there. Cori Bush. But hey, guess what, dude? We got fucking Dianne Feinstein. She's iconic. She's the best. Okay.
Lead on, I remember in particular her work on the Intelligence Committee, and when she was focusing in on some of the things that had happened in the course of the Iraq War, and how she really took that on in a way that took political courage at the time, and really stood out and was very forceful in how she reacted with that. But, again, Poppy, I think she really blazed a trail at a time when there were not very many women role models in politics for others to follow.
Yeah, she was a trailblazer. She showed women that you too can be a fucking asshole, okay? You too can be just as fucking rigid, just as anti-progress, just as shitty as the fucking male assholes in positions of power. How fucking sick. Thank you so much. Thank you for trailblazing. Thank you for paving the goddamn way, Dianne. You fucking did it. We did it, Joe. We did it. God damn it, dude. This one goes out. This one goes out for the Feinstein heads out there. You know what I mean? This is shots in the air. Firing some rounds for for Dianne. Oh fuck! I think might be out of juice. Yeah. Yeah, it's out of gas. I was trying to do a despot, but it didn't work.
It was a very, very tough road for her in the beginning. And she is someone who, Nancy Pelosi, for example, she would have been an example for Pelosi, also of San Francisco. And she did, of course, come in for some criticism from Democrats near the end of her life, because she was grappling with those health challenges, as you're seeing a little bit of on your screen now here.
A little bit of health challenges, bro. She was dying. She has been on ice trying to desperately prolong the last remaining fucking 3% of her health bar for like 10 years, man. Get the fuck out of here.
But I do think that on this particular day, you're correct to focus in on kind of what she meant in such a broad way to so many people.
And the ground that she broke for so many people. Phil, you were the chief congressional correspondent. Just your thoughts on her.
I mean, I think Casey's point, I think your point, this is important here. There's been so much focus on the health and the age and everything. People need to think about who the senator was, obviously passing away at 90, but not only was she a titan in the Senate and kind of in a class of female legislators that changed the dynamic and the face of the institution as well in its entirety. Over the course of her career, from when she was at the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, the first president of the Board of Supervisors, the reason she became mayor of San Francisco was because of the shooting death that included Harvey Milk, but also the mayor at the time, and her rise within San Francisco and to where she became such a powerful.
I like that the only fucking photos that they can use of Dianne Feinstein that don't like immediately betray the supposed ideal that they're representing, like the ideal Dianne Feinstein, who certainly wasn't dead for the past like 10 years, is from the Obama without white hair era. Okay. Like from the beginning of the Obama presidency. You can't even show like second term Obama. Okay. It's like, literally, the only times where Dianne Feinstein like doesn't look like a decrepit carcass is like 2009.
Chair of multiple committees. Focus on that. That is so much more important and so much more central to her career and to her life than I think what has been a difficult last couple of months.
Let's bring in CNN's Dana Bash for more on this. Dana, just your thoughts first and foremost. About the passing of Dianne Feinstein.
It's very sad, very, very sad. What an extraordinary, extraordinary woman.
It's pretty funny. I found her name here interesting considering she cared so much about CIA torture. Yeah, I mean, listen, let's be real. Obviously, she fucking sucks. Okay? 58% 29 of the 50 Democratic senators voted for the resolution. Okay. 48 Republicans with the yeas, 1 nay. 29 of the Democrats voted with yeas, 21 nays. Dianne Feinstein, Night Stalker, is the other part that we're going to actually cover. Okay.
An extraordinary life, an extraordinary career. I, as Phil and you, Kate, we had the privilege of covering her for years. I was able to spend time with her both in the.
I'd love to see a commentator come on and say, I'm glad that bitch is dead just for the shock value. They would never do that. You would get fucking fired so fast and never rehired for the rest of your life. No commentator would say that. Plus, that isn't even like political courage, really. That's just like being silly. Okay? Like, I say shock value shit like that, but the reality is because I fucking sit in my goddamn living room and say whatever the fuck I want, and that's the difference. But there's a reason for it. I would much rather have a political commentator on mainstream media adequately address why she was incredibly selfish. Okay? That's the major problem I have, is that, you know, she's a regular run-of-the-mill Democrat, institutional Democrat, holds on to power for far too long, doesn't open up the way for like other more progressive people to come in and fill the role as a California senator. It's fucking unimaginable to do that. It's like ridiculous. Okay? Like, she's so goddamn old that like there was a point in time when she was progressive, like 30 fucking years ago. And her values have remained the same for 30 fucking years. So all of a sudden, she's no longer fucking progressive for the past 20 years. You know what I mean? Even as a senator.
United States Senate and at home in San Francisco. I actually did a profile on her. Yes. After Hillary Clinton lost in 2016, we were sitting around and talking about women and the question of whether a woman would ever become president. Abigail Crutchfield and Rachel Small.
People still voted for her for 30 years. Brother, what are people supposed to do? Vote for a Republican? Like, what are you, insane? The entire point of this, the entire process is that the Democratic Party does not allow that seat to be given up, okay? That's the issue. You can't do anything. Like, what are you supposed to do? There's no primary opposition that's like decent. You know what I mean? It just doesn't fucking matter.
Smolkin and others here. And it dawned on us that there are so many women who have done amazing things, and let's profile them. Our very first profile was on Dianne Feinstein. That's right. And she just had so many incredible insights about what it took to do what she did, becoming the first female senator to represent the very large state of California, and also what happened before that. You've been talking a little bit about, yes, we have been focused on her career in the Senate, which is very rich and very vast, but what happened before she got there? And she was in the mayor's office in San Francisco because of tragedy, because of the assassination of Harvey Milk and also the mayor of San Francisco. And she was the one who came out and announced it that night, late at night. And it was that moment, that unbelievable tragedy, that not only propelled her to 10 years in the mayor's office, but what drove her lifelong push for gun control and the assault weapons ban, which of course lapsed, and then she tried unsuccessfully to get back in. And there's just so many aspects of her life and what happened in her life that shaped her. One thing I do want to, I'm just looking back on some of the things that she told me. It was back in 2017, and you'll all appreciate this. When she first got into politics, she went to Stanford University, and when she first got into politics, people said, something must be wrong with her. She must have a bad marriage. Why is she doing this? That was the only reason people could even conceive of the fact that a woman would get into politics and want to be in public service the way that she was, and the way that she succeeded and of course exceeded expectations for all those decades.
This shit is so lame, brother. Oh, remember in 2016, the National Dems, Pelosi and Obama killed any other candidate Californians wanted for her? There was no... This article calls her an ally to the LGBT community, but then lists 100 things she did to hurt the LGBTQ community. No matter how straight-laced she seemed, Dianne Feinstein didn't care who you sleep with. Despite the late California's 1950s wife image, she became a pioneering advocate for the gay community. First of all, she's the mayor at that point of the gayest place in America, okay? And in spite of that, her record is like kind of wishy-washy on it. So what the fuck are we talking about here? It was a political dynamic that shaped her career more broadly. Still, Liz Feinstein, who died Thursday, is celebrated as a trailblazer for women, a historic steward for her hometown during an era of upheaval and consequential U.S. senator. Her leadership helped in usher LGBTQ citizens in America's mainstream should not be overlooked. From her time serving on the San Francisco Board of Supervisors for Harvey Milk to her battle to protect transgender service members, Dianne Feinstein has been a champion for LGBT equality and justice, an early adapter. Same could be said for Eliotto's heavily Irish and Italian Catholic police force. The city had an active gay underground since the gold rush, but local cops and the state alcohol control board agents alike aggressively enforced archaic public morality statutes well into the 70s. I would say that she was progressive 50 years ago, and then she kind of just stayed the course on those values. Like, they didn't shift too much. Okay? Yeah, like it's literally like, oh, she wasn't actively pushing to cull homosexuals in public. So she was progressive. And let's be real, only socially progressive, not economically. That's also true. And in that regard, like, ultimately,